Okay, everybody, here we go. I'm laughing already. Yeah, it's me, Gregory Mannarino. Thursday, October 31st, 2024, Halloween. Boo. Look, so we had a pan sell off today, except for crude oil. We'll talk about that in just a moment here. Look, there's a lot of uncertainty here. Let's not forget that this market has gone pretty much straight up. The stock market, a series of record highs, 47 record highs this year so far. It's historic for the S&P 500. All three major indices did hit record highs just recently. Gold and silver record. I mean, come on, man. People get all kind of bent out of shape when they're looking at this. But you and I, what are we doing? We're focusing on that debt market, and we have a problem here. We definitely have a problem. I want to talk about that. I got a really good question earlier from a gentleman on my newsletter here, Scott Sondergaard, and I want to address that in just a little bit. But before we do that, let's just set this stage for what happened. As I said, lower across the board with regard to the stock market. Bitcoin, cryptos, gold, silver, lower across the board. Pan sell off except for this. Now, what's up with this? Okay. Um, look, the market is now trying to price in, or it's speculating that soon, probably over the weekend, after market hours, maybe Friday, who knows, there is going to be a retaliatory strike on Israel, obviously by Iran. So this is getting bid up. All right. So there was the outlier, crude oil. Look, man, it doesn't change anything with regard to our perspective on commodities here. Now, with regard to commodities, it's a no-brainer in my view, and I want to touch a little more on that in just a little bit. But let's talk about some economic news that we got. Well, let's talk about this. This is huge. All right, now it doesn't stop. You know that the mechanism is very, very simple. The deliberate destruction of the global economy is what's really keeping stock markets propped up. For how long has this guy explained to you that the worse off the economy is, the stock market's going to go? Keep that in mind for a moment, because I want to touch on that because of the question here that I got from Scott. Anyway, so this is Chicago Business Activity Index drops to a 5-month low. Business activity is in contraction. And again, this is not just a phenomenon here in the United States. This is a worldwide phenomenon. I want you to think about what's going on here. All right, you and I have called this from a long time ago. This is not going to stop. All right, with all this stuff. Now, the mechanism here is just too easy to understand. When I say something like, for example, the faster that the economy craters, the higher the stock market is going to go. It's because you have to understand the same two factors that are destroying the global economy are the same two factors that are propping up the stock market. People, you know what I'm talking about. At least I hope you do. If you follow this vlog, you know what I'm about to say, but I'm just going to repeat it just real quick. Okay. Look, finance and economics. Okay. These are what I do. It's all I do. Okay. Pretty much. There are only two. Are you ready to hear it again? Fundamental truths. These are fundamental truths when it comes to the economy. To have, let me know if this makes sense to you, because people know when they hear the truth. I mean, just look this up for yourself. To have a strong economy, you must have a strong currency. You must have a corresponding rate of interest enough to keep the currency strong. But what we have had here globally since the meltdown of 08 was artificially suppressed rates, which we got promises from Trump that will continue. The man wants negative rates. He's a proponent of it. That's why the market wants Trump. I don't want to cover this again because that's what he said last time during his tenure. He called the Fed boneheads because they weren't going to zero negative. Negative rates would be an economic destroyer and an inflationary nightmare. But that's not what the market cares about. The market wants Trump because of that reason. But Kamala is selling you the same plan, which she adopted from the lovely, beautiful, illustrious Trump. He was the first one to promise that he was going to make sure rates go down. And the market got orgasmic over it. We hit record. Why the market was pricing it is still pricing in a Trump win. Is it going to happen? We shall see, won't we? It don't matter any man. Look, let's look past the selection here. The selection is going to be what it is. Period. We got to start looking down the line. So I want you to understand what I'm talking about. The population, the middle class of the world has been forced to deal with financial hardship, and you haven't seen anything yet with regard to that. Inflation, the economy contracting, business activity, manufacturing, all to prop up the stock market. Again, the two same things that destroy the economy, economic destroy. You see, look, politicians in this case, Trump, puppet, Kamala, puppet, they think you are too dumb to realize that they're selling you the Fed's plan of artificially suppressed rates. We need those. We promise you, because that's great. You see how well artificially suppressed rates and currency devaluation has worked for the world economy? People are suffering. But what it's done is prop up the stock market. And who's benefiting from that? Who owns most of the market? The 1% and 2%ers, the Elon Musks. And they're laughing at you. They're laughing at you. You understand? So look, man, that's kind of, I really want you to understand why I've been telling you for years that the faster the economy comes down, the higher the market's going to go. We're being wiped out. And this is what I've been trying to tell you. No one's being held to account for this. Our loving, caring representatives, they genuflect and they get on their knees when Powell, Fed chair, walks into the room like he walks on water. When they're dealing with a Fed president or the Fed chair himself, our loving, caring representatives don't know what to do with themselves. They get all flush and giddy because they realize that they're actually looking at world control. And what they're doing here, again, is playing right into that game. There's no accountability. We do not have a representative government here. We don't have a democracy, a representative democracy. We have nothing. We have central banks in full control. We are being exterminated around the world like bugs, moving closer every day to this neo-feudal system. Now, looking forward past this freaking selection, which I can't wait to get past. I don't give a damn who's chosen here because they both work for the Fed. From a market standpoint, who do you think is going to be better here? Someone that wanted negative rates, or someone who really hasn't mentioned that because she doesn't even know what it means? You understand? Of course, the market would outperform under Trump, but you would suffer. Doesn't matter. Whoever they choose here, you're done. You lose. People are so blind right now. They don't understand what they're looking at. Puppet one, puppet two, selling you the Fed's plan. That's what they're doing. One of them would love to have negative rates, and that's why the market was hitting record. You understand? I think we're kind of on the same page here. At least I hope we are. Now, I want to talk about issues that we're seeing here with, again, the banks and the financial system. We're about to see things unfold here. Look, all day long today, I'm sitting here looking over data and looking at stuff, and I just draw a line. I connect the dots. I really have like my own little dot plot. And I literally connect the lines here and I say, okay, this is the most likely outcome. It's pretty easy to see where we're going. I mean, you got to be almost brain dead not to see it. No matter who's chosen, no matter who's selected here, we're going to see the same things occur. We're already dealing with financial hardship to prop up that stock market. Now we've hit the point of no return, which I call maximum saturation, which means the system is fully debt saturated. But what are they going to do? They're going to continue to pump it with more debt to at least try to maintain this illusion until they don't. But you and I, with this until they don't moment, is going to come down to a meltdown in the debt market. You and I have been on target with this like nobody else. Again, I personally feel we have the best tool that has ever been created to watch risk in this market, the Mannarino Market Risk Indicator. Again, it's free to everybody. Link in the description of this video. So look, just before I move forward, are you understanding why you are being forced to suffer, why you are being forced to deal with inflation, why you are being forced to deal with an economy that is contracting on every angle that you want to look at here, and the propaganda and the lies and the distractions are getting even worse? Again, it's a mechanism to prop up the stock market at your expense. It's the largest, most magnificent wealth transfer the world has ever seen. And they haven't reached the grand finale. The grand finale is when you're going to see zeros across pretty much all of your accounts here. Again, when we get a locking up of the system, that's really where they're pushing us towards by hyperinflating the debt the way that they are right now. Central banks buying it all, issuing debt through one door in the form of currency, buying it back through another door. As you all know how this works, they're buying all the debt right now here in the United States, keeping rates suppressed, promises that's even going to get even more dramatic no matter who is selected. So tell me how you win here. You see what I'm saying? Come on, man. Wake the freak up, those of you that are still asleep. And of course, central banks in here buying all the gold here, the number one buyer of gold. Now, it's interesting. People say, well, Greg, if central banks are buying all the gold, why isn't the price going up? Well, we've seen record high as of late. I guess they're not paying attention to that. Okay, you get a sell-off today. We had a pan sell-off today. I already told you what's going to happen here. And I want you to focus on this, especially if you're new here. If you've been with me, you already know. The eventual bursting of the debt market hyperbubble is going to take everything down with it. Everything initially, the baby gets thrown out with the bath water, and then cash is going to move from one set of assets into another. Now, you and I aren't holding gold and silver because we think the price action is going to go up higher next week or the week after. I don't even think about it. All we know is that's our hedge. Because again, we know how cash moves through the markets. It's too stupid. All right. In this kind of an environment, obviously, of currency devaluation, artificially suppressed rates, what does it do? Opens up a doorway for the cash to make its way into risk assets. What does that do? It causes investors to pay pretty much anything to own shares of stock. It's called multiples expansion. Are we on the same page? Okay. Now, when this reverses, debt market meltdown happens here, of course. It's going to destroy world stock markets overnight. I mean, it's going to be epic to watch these multiple expansion cycle turn into a contraction cycle, and cash is just going to move into commodities. Again, look, man, if you don't realize that commodities are priced in dollars, and when we're talking about gold and silver here, it's the derivative market that is setting the price for the hard asset. It's rigged. It's like, for example, I always tell you a million times, it's like Apple stock, the valuation of it is getting priced in because of the derivative. It's the opposite way. But people don't understand that. So you're going to see, and we've seen for years, the manipulation of the price action of gold and silver. You see, like today, for example, the price action of silver dropped 3%, whatever it dropped here. I have it down somewhere. Is that because physical silver is being traded here? No, that's because the derivative is being dumped. Paper, it doesn't exist. It's not on the elemental chart. But people don't get this stuff, man. They just don't get it. Anyway, so let me just cover this question I got here. So this is from Scott Sondergaard. He goes, Greg, I want you to pay attention because this is actually a good question. Greg, you keep saying we need higher rates, not lower ones. So now we are getting them. In other words, we're seeing this sell off in the debt market. Okay, at least he's paying attention to that. He goes, and you are saying this is a problem. I am very confused. Which is it? What am I missing? Please explain in detail. Very good question. Maybe some of you have asked the same thing. Here is my answer. Artificially suppressed rates / currency devaluation are economic destroyers. You already know that. We've covered it. We do not need what Trump and Kamala are promising us. Trump and Kamala are making sure they put the final nails in our coffins with regard to allowing the central banks to become the one world leader. In this case, the Federal Reserve. They are both spokespeople persons of the Federal Reserve. They're selling you their plan. Seems like many of you are still blind to it. Anyway, here. Now, this mechanism here of artificially suppressed rates and currency devaluation, which also create massive price action distortions across the spectrum of asset classes, meaning cash comes out of places where it should be going into and vice versa. So you get this multiple bubbles environment where there is no price discovery whatsoever anymore. Thank you, Tyler. I appreciate that. Super micro crash today? I don't think so. Honestly. Anyway, let us move forward here. So the end result of this is a fake market environment. Now this is where I want you to focus on. I think this is where Scott is talking about. We understand that we have a stock market that's in la la land. Have you heard me say that before? No bearing on reality. It's a hyper bubble built on the back of this debt bubble, which has been manufactured on the back of artificially suppressed rates, currency devaluation. Who's paying for that? You are, as the 1% and 2%ers are laughing their rear ends off into, we've never seen this before. Under the last three creatures who have sat behind the Resolute desk, Obama creature, Trump creature, and Biden creature, we have seen more millionaires and billionaires created than any other time in history. That's because they work for you, the middle class, right? You're getting decimated. You're getting absolutely decimated. As, again, these three creatures who have worked for the Fed, and they continue to do so. Whoever you get, understand, whoever they choose to sit behind the Resolute desk, number one is the enemy. We're going to know who the real traitor is. Honestly, I can't wait for the selection. We're going to find out who the one who's actually sold their soul to the devil. We're going to find out, because you understand how this works, right? Before Trump or Kamala or Biden before her goes to you and wants you to support them because they have your back, they go to Wall Street behind closed doors. You don't believe me? Look it up for yourself. Yes, they do. Every presidential potential selectee goes to Wall Street first behind closed doors. No minutes, no photographs, no recordings, nothing. They go there first to get vetted. After they go to Wall Street and get vetted, then they go to you. So you tell me who they work for. They work for you? You really still believe that? Oh, I don't even know what Peter Schiff said, dude, honestly. Anyway, going back to this. So end result is a fake market environment. Higher rates will indeed hit the markets. Again, look, this multiples expansion cycle maybe has run its course. I don't freaking know. We're going to find out by watching the debt market. It's the key. You all know that. Anyway, so what I'm saying is we need the opposite of what Trump and Kamala are selling us, which of course is the Fed's plan. Yes, this would hit the stock market pretty dramatically. In fact, I think it would cut it in half. But at least we'd have a real market, man. That's what I want. Higher rates is what we need. Stronger currency is what we need. When you hear a puppet promising you that they're going to make sure rates go down, what does the Fed want to do? The Fed wants lower rates so they can fulfill their end game. So if you think that Trump puppet or Kamala puppet is looking out for you, you are brain freaking dead. I'm telling you right freaking now. And you, again, is it working? How does it look right now? Wherever you live in this world, has lower rates and currency devaluation helped you become prosperous? Well, maybe if you're a millionaire or a freaking billionaire, oh, you're doing great because you're closer to the money. But the rest of us are paying the price. We're making you richer on the back of puppets. You realize this? Finally, are you waking up, man? And what's the end result going to be? Just the same as now. Financial hardship on an epic scale. People, look, let's move forward. Let's talk about what's going to happen moving forward. Now, this is some news just over the past few months here. This is from the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. The broad continuing rise in U.S. credit card debt delinquency. Okay, we know that People can't keep up anymore. It's the environment, and it's not by accident. It's deliberate. All of this has certainly propped up this stock market at your expense. So here's another one. So banks are in trouble because of that. Banks are in trouble because of rising unsecured loan defaults. Banks are in trouble because more Americans can't afford to pay their mortgages. Banks are in trouble because we're seeing a surge in auto loans, 15-year high. This is just from a few months ago. Anyway, what I'm here to tell you, I'm going to give you a little bit of bad news, which you already know. Okay. First of all, the freaking entire banking system is insolvent. We don't even have a fractional reserve system anymore. It's unbelievable what we have. And I'm telling you, we are going to see multiple failures. The smaller institutions, and probably one major Wall Street bank, you know which one I'm going to say, Bank of America, probably that one, maybe another one, but I'm going to say more than likely it's one as the scapegoat. Oh, look what we did. The system has collapsed, but we allowed one mega bank to fail, just like they did last time. Okay, Lehman Brothers and Bear went out, and who benefited from that? Well, the other banks who jumped in and bought all their good assets for pennies on the dollar. Tell me again who it was that got stuck with all the garbage. Oh yeah, you did. So did I. We had to bail out the system only so they could devalue the currency, artificially suppress rates. Does this sound familiar to you? How did it work out for you? You see what I'm talking about, man? But look, we are going to see moving forward, and there is no way out of it, no matter who's selected, not selected, or anywhere else in between. Financial hardship, much worse than we have now. They are bringing the system to its knees, meaning you're being brought to your knees. We are going to see bank failures. No matter who is selected, we are going to see more war. Why? Or another scamdemic, or a combination of the two, because war used to be the way that the military-industrial complex could work with the Fed to pull epic sums into the now from the future. But now the scamdemics have taken over. More cash into the scamdemic, 3.6 trillion with warp speed and everything else. You see how that worked out? It's not going to stop, man. Anything you could dream of, any nightmare on Halloween that you could come up with is going to be thrown at us. You think they're done? You really think they're done here? And all of a sudden, Trump is selected. Thank you. Everything's going to change? You really think that's true? You cannot possibly be that naive. There's not a single person here. Or if Kamala is selected, you think it's really going to change? No. The trajectory we're on cannot be changed because we've already hit that moment of maximum saturation. We are in a downward spiral now. Again, central banks have secured their position as world control. And it doesn't matter which puppet they choose. It doesn't matter. They're there to sell you the Fed's plan anyway. And you're leading yourself to the slaughter here, people. Make it up. Make any of this stuff up, man. It's just an incredible thing to see. But look, man, what does it mean for you and me? We're going to do what central banks have been doing, man, which we've been doing for years. Since day one, I started telling you, people, bet against the debt. Become your own central bank. Invest in crypto, XRP plumbing, exactly. I think people need to be holding cryptocurrencies. You all know that. It's too simple to understand how this is going to unfold. People tell you this a million times. There's no mystery here. If we understand the mechanism that has swept the world of central banks who have their bases in every continent around the world, keeping rates artificially suppressed, devaluing the currency. See how it's working out for everyone? And what are they doing? The same thing again. Because, in other words, what they need, the desperation is this, okay? And the desperation falls on us, not them. They're bringing the system down to its knees, which means they want us on our knees. The same mechanism that has caused the situation that we're in now, they're utilizing again. Let's suppress rates even more. Let's devalue the currency even more than we already have. I want you to think about this. We've already have historically low rates. It's working out really well, right? It worked last time to bring us to where we are now. So now, because they think you're all stupid, and now they have Puppet 1 and Puppet 2, Trump and Kamala, who are fist feeding you their plan, and it's going to work this time because it didn't work last time, but it's going to work now, doing the same thing. Let's devalue the currency more by keeping rates artificially suppressed. Let's promise the people that, because they're so stupid, they're going to march in line to their own slaughter. Well, that's exactly what's going on here. As again, don't take my word for any of this stuff. Business activity contraction, manufacturing, the world economy in contraction. What are they doing? They're flooding the world with more debt, and they're buying gold. All the stuff that you would expect to see. People, look, man, it's too simple to understand. So the reverse is eventually going to happen here. Realizing that those that are really in control, then they're puppets, have us by the throat and by the, where down here. Their mechanism here to destroy us is going to go even faster moving forward, because again, the debt must expand exponentially. You can expect debt to skyrocket. Now we're getting what? Every 90 days, another $1 trillion on your back, on the future of what used to be the United States. You think that's going to stop? Really? Honestly? No. A whole new system, people, is coming. A whole new paradigm, a whole new set of rules is coming. And do you know why? Because there's no accountability anymore. You and me are the only ones out here. I really believe that. We're like, honestly, man, I don't know. People who are able to see through this, it's so easy once you understand it all. And then you have that epiphany. And you say, wow, we're being eliminated. This is an extinction level event here. And I'm going to tell you again, if you believe that things, first of all, this is an illusion, all of it here. All of it. And the illusion of the market has led a lot of people to believe that the economy is strong. And what are you getting from the mainstream media? Oh, the economy is strong. We're the envy of the world here. That was our lovely, illustrious Bidenstein creature of ominous puke that he is here. We're all rich. That was Trump talking to the 1% and 2%ers, the Elon Musk. They're in his. Look at the stock market. We're all rich. He wasn't talking to you. You think I was talking to you? Oh, man. I tell you, I know I'm preaching in the choir here. Greg, should we start learning guerrilla warfare? Man, I'll tell you, it's probably a great question, but I would say we more got to embrace love, man. It's not. It's we gotta come together. Love is the enemy right now, and the truth is the enemy. Truth and love have become the enemy here. Imagine if we had a world full of truth and love right now. You think we'd be in the situation we are right now? We're being overrun. We're being overrun by a fraction of the world population, the 1% and 2%ers, the super elites, like the Elon Musks, understand, who's being paraded out as this savior. He's going to cut government waste. The truth of the matter is, he's probably the premier expert on AI. And this tokenized system, it's all part of it. That's really why he's there. Trump has sold it to you a different way, and I don't know how many of you actually bought it. It's unbelievable. But again, what else would you expect in the environment of deceit and lies and hatred? It's unbelievable. Judgment Day, yeah, man, it's coming, man. It's coming. And unfortunately, people are getting what they asked for. We've asked for this because no one stands up to it. We're a conquered and controlled society. People feel like they're free. What are you free to do? You're not free to do it. You can't come together. These people can't come together with these people because there's been so much hatred. We cannot elicit change. So we've become an entity that doesn't matter anymore. And they're laughing at us, the 1% and 2%ers. They're laughing at us because they can't believe how stupid we are, how easy it is for them to manipulate all of us. You understand? It's too easy. It's absolutely too freaking easy. Anyway, guys and girls, I really don't know what else we can talk about here. I think we've set the stage. I really, really do. It just means that you and I got to double our efforts, man, to stay ahead of the curve, to raise our awareness. Look, man, this has played out exactly as you and I have said it would so far. Pretty much 98% of it has. All right. We will face a moment of reckoning here. The moment of reckoning will not be at a time of our choosing, but at a time of their choosing. And they're not done causing people to suffer. They will make people beg for a solution. This is really what we're leading to, a climax here, and an event to occur. Could it be the presidential selection? I have no clue. A lot of people seem to believe that. I've had a lot of people write to me, Greg, everything is going to change on the 5th. There's going to be civil war. There's going to be this. There's going to be that. Look, personally, I don't think so, and I'll tell you why. You know why? Because we're talking about it. When you can even speculate about an event, oh, it's going to be this. I've told you guys and girls this for years. When you can think, oh, it's going to be this selection, oh, it's going to be this, it's going to be that, it's not going to be that. That's really the truth. It's going to be something out of left field. But again, like they already know, this is nothing that we see here is by accident here. We're not in this current situation by accident. We've been put here. You understand? Again, the mechanism of artificially suppressed rates, currency devaluation has made you suffer. Obviously, okay, but we're supposed to think it's an accident or a fault of this person or a fault of that. They need a scapegoat. No finger pointing at the Fed or any central bank. They're the ones responsible for monetary policy. Presidents do not have a printing press. Presidents do not have the ability to devalue the currency. This is a fallacy on a massive scale that Trump sold you and Biden sold you. Biden blamed Trump because he did borrow more cash into existence than every president in history. Not combined, but every. And then Biden got blamed by Trump because they can't point their finger at those who are governing the entire system and running monetary policy. Every excuse not to point at the Fed because the Fed is in control. The Fed, the central banks are collectively the ones running the entire show, including the control of the flow of information. I was watching CNBC here just towards the end of the day. And one of the commentators was talking about all the good economic news that we're getting here. The good economic news, is that actually the truth here? What did we just find out about? I had it here for a second. Business activity in contraction, manufacturing in contraction here, debts and deficits skyrocketing. Is that the definition of a strong economy? Of people who can't get by, they can't pay their bills anymore. Personal debt, household debt, consumer debt skyrocketing, debt defaults across the board, banks' balance sheets loaded with bad debt. And you wait to see what's going to happen. We're going to see a series of failures on the smaller and the regional institutions. And what's going to happen is the big banks are going to swoop in and get their good assets for pennies on the dollar to consolidate power. Who's going to get stuck with the bad assets? Well, I'm going to tell you who it is already. It's going to be you, of course. You know it is, because that's what happened last time. Where was the outcry? People did. People tried to raise awareness. Remember the Occupy Wall Street holiday? I said it would fail publicly. Yeah, well, it did. And it's because they're so strong. They're so powerful. And again, people, yes, keep stacking silver. Absolutely. People lose their focus. And again, it's too bad because, look, the mechanism is designed to keep people working very, very hard and struggling. So that all they can focus on is, well, I got to work a few more hours. I got to get some overtime. I got to pay these bills. And then they're told, well, it's the fault of this person or it's the fault of that person by presidential puppets who are selling them nothing but a lie. Do you realize that Trump's entire campaign and Kamala's entire campaign, both of them, are liars of the highest possible order, and all they've sold you is an illusion. And what you're going to see and where we're going is going to be very, very real, unfortunately. But again, they're going to blame something else. I have no idea what that thing is. I don't think it's the selection here coming up on the 5th. A lot of you think that it is. Is it possible that we could see something like last time? Sure it is. Didn't bring down the economy, didn't precipitate anything because we kind of expected something like that was going to happen. When you could point at something, it's never it. It's never it. It's always the same story. It's this left field kind of an event, but just be ready for it. And we already are. You and I, mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, at least. Anyway, man. Before we get out of here, is there anything that you guys and girls want to cover before we get out of here today? I know lately I haven't been taking too many questions here. I still get complaints, although the complaint desk is permanently closed, that these videos are too long or whatever it might be. Madison 32. Where's our real Robin? Whatever. Uh, my favorite color. I don't know. That's a good question. I probably would say like a blue, maybe. Um, Oil. I told you about crude oil. Crude oil today, if that's what you're talking about, the reason why we got that spike is look, man, war isn't going to stop. War is not going to stop. I know a lot of you are believing that if Trump is selected, all wars around the world are just going to end. The promises, the agreements that we've signed with our allies are all just going to disappear because Trump walks on water. No, it wasn't Trump's job. It makes me laugh when I hear this stuff. It wasn't Trump's job to elicit war. It was Trump's job to rebuild the war machine, for which he did. Record high funding for the war machine, only so it can be used now. Do you think there's not a continuity here? You don't think they already know who the next president is going to be, and the next one after that, and the next one, and they all have their marching orders? Are you really that naive? Honestly, can't be. But that was Trump's job, and he did a very good job. He promised, this is going to be the last time. Remember that? With regard to the budgets and military spending? That didn't work out too well. It's not going to work out now either. Oh, it's too funny, man. It's too funny. Look, man, a question here on tech. Tech has done very, very well. As you know, we just hit a record for the NASDAQ. Everything hinges on this debt market, man. Everything hinges on it. I can't stress this enough to you. It's a bubble of epic proportions. That's why I have the MMRI, why I made it for myself, and I released it to all of you 100% for free. Again, link in the description of this video. We need to, and again, when you look, I don't have a printout of the MMRI, I'm sorry, but you can look at it again. There's just a link down here. Don't focus too much on that number there, okay? We know what happens. When we've gotten high like this and we've gone over 300 a couple of times, the market doesn't know what to do with itself. It's the pace. It's how fast that sell-off happens. Now, what we're waiting for here, and what's eventually going to happen, people, we're going to see a sell-off that is so violent in the debt market. People's heads are literally going to spin around like the freaking exorcist. We're going to see 20, 30, 40, and maybe even 50 basis points higher with regard to the 10-year yield in one day. That is going to melt down stock markets of the world. I mean, look, man, we're all in the same boat. This hyperinflated stock market on the back of obviously the most monstrous creature that has ever been created in the history of the world, this hyper debt market, and with promises to inflate it even more. That's the only goal. You have to understand. Central banks, they have but one goal, man, to inflate. It's their power. We can take that power away. Do you realize that if we had, imagine, for example, Trump or Kamala. Kamala does not understand the financial system. I clearly understand that. I would have to believe that Trump does. Why? What was he doing during his last tenure? Calling for negative rates. Before he was president, he said the stock market was a big, fat, ugly bubble. When he became president, it wasn't a bubble anymore. All he wanted it was to go higher. And he was calling for net zero and even negative rates. So I have to say that Trump understands the mechanism. It's very, very simple. So the fact that he's selling you, because Kamala doesn't know. Like I said, she does not know. But the fact that Trump knows and is selling you what are two economic destroyers, which of course help the 1% and 2%ers, that's the field leveler, in my opinion here. That's how they're both the same, in my view. And again, imagine if Trump, because he understands the system, actually had the guts to tell you, we don't need lower rates. We've had them. Imagine if Trump or Kamala, who doesn't understand it, said, maybe if Kamala had a financial guy like me, let's say, behind her, or Trump had a guy like me who would be saying, dude, what are you saying right now? You're promising people lower rates, which means a weaker currency. Are you insane? It's worked out real well. He'd be like, Greg, shut up. Shut up, Greg. Don't tell them. We can't tell people that. We have to prop up that stock market. I got Elon Musk over here. He needs to be a trillionaire. Yeah, so let's just keep that really quiet. And me, I'm a multi-billionaire. I want to be a trillionaire like Musk. So let's make sure we keep rates suppressed. And, maybe we could inflate this even more. But I don't know about that. I'll be honest with you. I don't know how much further we're going to make it. That's the truth here. I don't know. Things just look too bad. Trump knows how to run a bankruptcy. What does that mean? You think he's going to save us all because he knows how to run a bankruptcy? Because he's had more bankruptcies than any other probably businessman in the history of the world failed businesses? That makes him the man to be president. Make it up. Make it up. You can't do that. Imagine that. Unreal. And there are some people that actually believe that's true. He's going to manage the bankruptcy of the United States. We're beyond bankrupt already, and he wants us to become more bankrupt. How's it working out? Oh my gosh. I can't believe I hear this stuff. I really can't. But what do you expect? Most people have no conception at all, zero, of how the financial system works at all. They go about their daily jobs, whatever they might do, and they think maybe because they hear about a particular stock or they hear something, I know everything about the financial markets. I know how cash moves through the markets. I realize how it all works. How about no? Okay. I think there were probably a handful of people on this planet who actually really understand the true workings, the mechanism here. And you're looking at one right here. That's the truth. And all of you who follow this blog, whatever here. Trump has built skyscrapers for which you had to declare bankruptcy on. You're right. All his casinos have gone bankrupt. Thanks for reminding me about that. People, you can't make this stuff up. You can see what we have here. We have some people that just can't see at all. They're absolutely blind. And they don't understand that they're being sold the same plan by both creatures. And they think by some miracle, this is all going to change. You can't help these kind of people. It's impossible to do. So I've literally stopped even trying because they're just gone. And that's okay. That's okay. Because they're suffering right now and they have no idea where we're going even forward here. But thanks for the reminder. You're right. Trump did build skyscrapers and they did go all bankrupt, didn't he, as casinos. He's probably the only guy on the planet who can actually lose money with a casino where the house is actually rigged to always win. Yeah, that's the guy I want for president. Doesn't matter, man. Doesn't matter. That's okay. Anyway, dude, hope. The hope is in you and me. That's who the hope is in. Don't lose hope. The hope is in this community here, okay? We don't need a puppet to rule us, to tell us what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be able to govern ourselves. The system is going to collapse. It's collapsing now. The central banks have their plan, which has been laid out over a century ago to bring about their inevitable end game, which is to be the lenders and buyers of last resort, to rule it all. And there ain't no one going to stop it. All they have now is puppets playing right into it. The last three presidents, as I said, just think about it. Take every president from George Bush going back to George freaking Washington. Take all the debt they piled in. Go all those. Look at the last three presidents, including the illustrious Trump and Biden, of course. And they've outspent them all plus in three presidents. If that doesn't tell you what's actually going on, then I don't know what to tell you, man. Then you're absolutely freaking lost here. And anyway, look, people always get what they want, and they're leading themselves to the slaughter. Doesn't matter who's selected in my book. I don't really give a damn. All I'm going to be looking forward to is helping you and myself, of course, get through this. And we need each other. I don't know another way to put it. We need each other more than ever. Again, just connecting the dots up into 2025, through 2025. I just divine intervention, maybe, but there's no other way for this to change. They have us on a very deliberate course, and we're being led there. We were being led there, not people leading themselves there. Not you and me. I'm saying we're definitely the exception to the rule, and we've turned the tables on this entire system. We're not just sitting back in some corner sucking our thumb off. You understand? Anyway, man, guys and girls, look, man, I love you. The Fed is the house. The Fed is winning. Central banks are winning. We won't have anyone to, again, like I was saying, imagine if we had Trump or Kamala say, hold on a minute. We don't need lower rates. So why am I promising you them? Oh, I was told to say that by the Federal Reserve. Oh, let's forget that. Because that's the truth here. They're told what to say, how to say it after they're vetted by Wall Street. You have to understand how this works. When they go to Wall Street, Trump did it, Biden did it, then of course Kamala did it. And they all got they sit down there before all the bankers, the central bankers, and then again, just does it bother you at all? There are no notes, no recordings, no minutes, no pictures, no photographs, zero. That bothers me. It tells you who they serve, and it ain't you, and it certainly ain't me. And then you're right. The house always wins. In this case, it's the central banks. The central banks are the house. The 1% and 2%ers who own 90% of this market, they're the ones winning here. And we, the people of this world, are paying the price for it. Are we on the same page, unfortunately? All right, look, this guy here loves you all from the heart. I got to go. It's at 5 o'clock. I'm supposed to be outside the neighborhood here. They're having this little thing with all the kids for Halloween. There's bouncy houses out there. It's pretty cool. And anyway, so with that said, people, look, enjoy your Halloween with your kids and everything else. But I want you to seriously think about this stuff, what's going on here. And make no mistake, we've been dead on with all this. And everything we just talked about, we're going to be dead on too. All right. Love you all with all I got. I will see all of you in the morning. Okay. And until we meet again, take care of yourselves and each other.